Hi there, it's Elizabeth Ritchie from Rambana Ritchie. Today is May 7th. Yesterday, a friend posted a story from CNN on my Facebook timeline, and the story is about a Canadian doctor named Julia Iafrate, who is working in an emergency room in New York City, where she is caring for patients infected with the coronavirus. Dr. Iafrate's national interest waiver was recently denied. That was the subject of the story. The national interest waiver is a type of EB2 or employment-based second preference case for exceptional aliens. In the interview, the doctor mentions her case was denied because her specific endeavor was not proven. So today I'll talk about how to build a strong national interest waiver case and give some tips regarding specific endeavor. First, the phrase specific endeavor comes from a case called Dhanasar that came out in December of 2016 and replaced the NISDOC standard. Dhanasar's citation is in the comments to this video along with a link to the CNN story. According to Dhanasar, and I quote, the first prong, substantial merit and national importance, focuses on the specific endeavor that the foreign national proposes to undertake. The endeavor's merit may be demonstrated in a range of areas such as business, entrepreneurialism, science, technology, culture, health, or education. Evidence regarding the endeavor has the potential to create significant economic activity, may be favorable, but is not required, as an endeavor's merit may be established without immediate or quantifiable economic impact. So the Dhanasar case specifically says the petitioner proposes to engage in research and development relating to air and space propulsion systems, as well as to teach aerospace engineering at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. That's what Dhanasar did. Since Dhanasar's case was released, I filed over 100 national interest waivers for aliens ranging from data scientists to teachers, editors, and many other positions. In my filings, I draft a sample intention letter from the alien for each client, which says something like, quote, I propose to specifically engage in whatever the person's area is. And then like Dhanasar, what my client plans on doing, I specifically state out. I also include 2 sample letters for colleagues of the alien to include, and those letters specifically say in the subject line, proposed endeavor is XYZ. So it is abundantly clear to the officer what the proposed endeavor is from the get-go. Other practices in filing a successful national interest waiver petition include sending a copy of the advanced degree. You don't need 10 people to comment on the fact that someone has a master's or a PhD. Just include a copy of the degree. If it's a foreign degree, include an equivalency from a company like Morningside Evaluations, Global Education Group, or Josef, Silny. Those are the companies that I like, that I refer many of my clients to. A lot of my clients tell me they only have a master's degree. A master's degree is an advanced degree, and for aliens pursuing PhDs, you can add that fact to the well-positioned section I'll talk more about. But you don't have to have a PhD to be eligible for a national interest waiver. In fact, did you know that you don't even have to have an advanced degree at all to qualify? You can still use NISDOC, but for purposes of the equivalency of a degree. And the way to do that is showing 3 of the following factors. You have a bachelor's degree relating to the area of exceptional ability, 10 years of related experience, a license to practice, demand of a high salary, or membership in a professional association. It is written in the singular in the regulations, membership. Recognition for achievements and significant contributions. So if you can meet 3 of those, you can prove you have the equivalent. Another creative strategy here is showing the equivalent of an advanced degree. USCIS considers 3 years of experience with progressively responsible employment to equal 1 year of formal education. So that's another way you can show an advanced degree. It's especially helpful for those who don't have advanced degrees but do have long careers. Another fact to keep in mind is that USCIS will not approve an alien for something they have not already done. For example, if you want awards for being a tennis player, you're not going to get a national interest waiver for being a tennis coach. If you have been with a private business and not acted as a consultant, you're not going to get a green card as a consultant. You're going to need to show that you've done consultancy in the past. Now, for the rest of the national interest waiver requirements, they have to prove that their proposed endeavor has both substantial merit and national importance. So make sure to include this language, this specific language in those support letters. Next, you have to prove you're well positioned to advance that proposed endeavor. So here's where you can show certifications, memberships, citations, publications, but note that publications and citations are not required in this context. If you have them, great. You would include them in the well-positioned section, but don't confuse the EB2 National Interest Waiver with EB1. EB1s use publications and citations to prove extraordinary ability, but today I'm talking about exceptional ability in the National Interest Waiver context. So make sure your support letters specifically state that you are well positioned to continue in the field. Don't forget to specifically state what that endeavor is. Lastly, a successful candidate has to show it would be beneficial to the United States to waive the requirements of a job offer and thus of a labor certification. So you can do this by proving any one of the following criteria. If you meet more than one, great, by all means show that, but you only have to meet one. First, whether in light of the nature of the beneficiary's qualifications or proposed endeavor, it would be impractical for the beneficiary to secure a job offer or for the petitioner to obtain a labor certification. So here's where you can include a letter from a prospective employer that specifically says they do not sponsor aliens for residency. I have found this to be the case with many universities and labs and even with some private companies. They just do not do it as a matter of policy. So if you can get that in writing, that's very helpful. Second, even assuming that other qualified workers are available, the U.S. would still benefit from the beneficiary's contributions. Again, have a letter writer specifically use these words. Third, whether the national interest in the beneficiary's contributions is sufficiently urgent to warrant foregoing the labor certification process. What do you think I'm going to suggest here? Have a letter writer specifically say the contributions are significantly sufficient and urgent to warrant foregoing the labor certification process. Next, whether the beneficiary's endeavor may lead to the creation of jobs. This factor might apply even if those jobs are an indirect result of the endeavor. If they are, say so and explain how. This has to be supported somehow, like with a business plan, which, by the way, I recommend visabusinessplans.com out of Miami. They do a great job with these. I'll also put a link to their website in the description. The last potential factor here is whether the beneficiary is self-employed in a manner that generally does not adversely affect U.S. workers. This may apply. If it does, specifically explain how. Remember, you only need to prove one of these 5 prongs that I've just mentioned. If you qualify, meaning you have the advanced degree, your work is substantially important in the national interest, you're well qualified, and you meet one of those, then the next question is about what to file and when. For aliens in the U.S., a common question in this context is whether to file the Form I-140 by itself or with Form I-485, which allows for work authorization and provides status. My answer is always, it depends. Filing an I-140 by itself gives no status or work authorization, but the entire case does depend on its approval. If the visa bulletin is current, then an I-485 can be filed. For those who need work authorization, it may be wise to file the I-485. If you're concerned about the strength of your case or would like to delay paying the $1,140 filing fee and the biometrics fee, you might want to wait to file that 485. It can be filed with the 140 after the I-140 is filed and pending, or upon approval of the I-140. The question of when to file the I-485 is moot, though, for those national interest waiver applicants who are abroad. They can only file Form I-140, and if it's approved, the case then goes to the National Visa Center for online processing and is then sent to the consulate abroad. I usually recommend against filing a 140 for someone who's abroad and then having them enter the US and file the I-485. It's definitely not a good idea to do that within 90 days of entry. So those are my tips on how to file a successful national interest waiver application. I certainly wish Dr. Iafrate all the best in her endeavors and thank her and all the medical professionals who are indeed essential and are helping us to beat the coronavirus. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your questions, which you can post here on social media, or you are welcome to send me via email, Elizabeth at Rambana, RAMBANA.com. Thanks.